Always on your side. This is First Coast News at 6.
Over the past 60 plus hours, we have received hundreds of tips.
They're coming after you and they're going to prosecute you.
The only thing that the family wants more than anything else, above and beyond any kind of money or help, is justice.
Justice. That's what the family of 7-year-old Heidi Rivas Villanueva wants tonight. They are one step closer to getting exactly that.
Now, this afternoon, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office announced a major break in this case. 2 people under arrest, but another is still on the run somewhere out there tonight. Stanley Harris III and Trevante Phoenix, who is 17 years old, have been charged now in the shooting death of Heidi. Police are looking for the 3rd suspect, and they could use your help. He is 21-year-old Abrion Price. Investigators say Price could be anywhere at this point. Now, earlier today, Harris made his first court appearance in Duval County. He was denied bond.
And Heidi died Saturday when she was struck by a stray bullet during a shootout over on the west side. She was sitting in the car with her father, waiting for her mother to get off of work when she was tragically killed. We have live team coverage for you tonight at 6 with today's breaking developments. Bethany Anderson joins us live from the scene where a vigil for Heidi will take place tonight. But we begin with Ken Amaro with the latest details.
That's correct, Anthony. Stanley Harris and Trevante Phoenix, both of them are tonight here in the Duval pretrial detention facility. And as someone stated a second ago, no bond has been set for both. But the fact that they've been arrested and they're here in jail brings some closure to this tragedy that started over the weekend. And again, police are looking for that 3rd person. His name is Abrion Price. There's a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to his arrest. Today, Sheriff Mike Williams laid out the details as to why Heidi Villanueva was caught in the crossfire. There was a shootout apparently between Harris, Price, and Phoenix. Sheriff Williams says Price and Phoenix were selling a gun to someone in the nearby IHOP parking lot, and they decided to rob the buyer instead. Harris, who was with the buyer, opened fire, and he may have fired the fatal shot. They're still waiting on ballistics. Then I asked the sheriff about the other incidents this year. 4 children under 18 so far this year. Is our community safe for our kids?
You know, our community is safe for our kids. I'll tell you this, any one of these cases is one too many.
So the last few days have been filled with sadness and grief. I actually stopped by the scene this morning briefly, and there are no words really to describe what's happened. What you see here today is, first of all, we have to continue to invest in preventing crimes, but when and where they happen, we're going to continue to make sure the sheriff has the resources they need to go get the bad guys.
State Attorney Melissa Nelson said that all 3 defendants will be charged with murder. The juvenile, Mr. Phoenix, he will be charged as an adult, and police are still focusing on where or when they can get their hands on Mr. Abrion Price. There is a strong pursuit now. Hopefully they'll get him before the week is out. Ken Amaro, First Coast News, on your side.
Ken, thank you for that information. Now, this morning should have marked the 2nd day of school for 7-year-old Heidi. Instead, her body is now on a plane back to her native home of Honduras.
First Coast News' Bethany Anderson spoke with Heidi's parents this afternoon, and they told her how they want their daughter remembered. Bethany?
That's right. Even though this shooting has been tragic and beyond senseless, take a look behind me here. There's a lot of love. There's flowers. There's candles. There's balloons that say princess on them. And that's exactly how they want their daughter remembered.
Ella me decía, mamita, ¿cuándo voy a entrar a la escuela? Porque mamita, yo quiero aprender, me decía yo.
Just a few days before Heidi's death, her mother Beatrice tells me a police officer told her daughter she was a princess and she could be anything she wanted.
Ella me decía, mamita, yo voy a ser policía.
Her mother says that officer was her daughter's superhero because Heidi actually wanted to be a police officer. She grew up in Honduras until she was 3 and witnessed violence at an early age. Her mother says Heidi had a heart for people, especially her baby sister.
crecí si mis niñas eran tan unidas.
Heidi's mother tells me she will never be forgotten and will always live on in spirit.
Mi corazón ahí está. Ella nunca, yo sé que mi hija, ella murió físicamente, pero en mi corazón, ella no ha muerto, ella sigue vivita.
Behind me is the spot in the car where Heidi was killed. Her parents tell me they're trying to save up to buy a new vehicle. In the meantime, they still have funeral expenses. If you would like to help them out, we have provided a link on our website, firstcoastnews.com. And tonight there is going to be a vigil out here starting at 7. We will bring you updates as well. Reporting live on the west side, Bethany Anderson, First Coast News, on your side.
Thank you very much. And of course, Heidi's family could use your help. They're asking for help to pay for her funeral. We've linked a GoFundMe account set up by a family friend to firstcoastnews.com. And you'll notice we are keeping up the picture of the third suspect still out there on the loose, Abrion Price. Take a really good look at his face. If you have any idea where he is, there is a $5,000 reward for information. Please call JSO. And be sure to stay with First Coast News for the very latest on this story about the murder of Heidi. We'll always have the newest information at firstcoastnews.com as we search for justice for little Heidi.
Now to another developing story we're following at 6. A man is in jail after police say he confessed to shooting his wife. It all happened this morning over on the south side at the Kings Crossing Apartments. That woman was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. After the shooting, the suspect left and then returned to the scene. Neighbors say that's when he confessed to the shooting and was taken into custody. We also spoke to the person who called police, who says a little boy was inside the home at the time and he witnessed the shooting.
He came up to me. He said, "Daddy killed Mommy. Daddy killed Mommy." I said, "Come with me." I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Sam." So I brought him to my apartment. So I go to my husband, call 911.
And we are still waiting for police to release the names of the suspect and the victim.
Well, it was right about at high noon that the shower started to pop. The clouds continue to build up to where the air is cold enough for ice that allows for lightning, and thus the thunderstorms did form. And they have been pretty persistent, especially for our coastal areas. But it looks like both the intensity and the coverage has peaked, and now activity is decreasing. We still have a few storms out there and still some thunderstorms, at least with some lightning. Of course, that's always dangerous, so let's check it out. Diminishing as this thunderstorm complex pulls out of Putnam County, up and down Highway 17 from north of Palatka up to Green Cove Springs, and then still some downpours and some lightning. So we'll call it a thunder shower as it continues to work to the northeast and could continue to impact areas over Clay County, especially southeast of Middleburg, out to the river. Might cross over to about Highway 13 before falling apart. Duval, we're still watching some showers, some occasional downpours over western and northwestern Duval, where still some heat lingers, but admittedly not too much developing out there. We'll expand the picture, and some thunderstorms well off to the west and northwest of Brunswick. These will actually work toward the Savannah area, where there is a severe thunderstorm warning up there. And then these thunderstorms out to the west of the Okefenokee will begin to diminish. We call this a trough in the upper levels. It's on the move, so our pattern will change. We'll check it out in just a few moments.
Tim, thank you. An engineer with the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Department arrested last month for beating a woman has now been suspended. According to the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, Alan Hawk punched the woman in the face and choked her until she passed out. Hawk has been charged with domestic battery and domestic battery by strangulation as well. Investigators say he had been drinking at the time of the incident.
Today, the continuing federal case against indicted former city council members Katrina and Reggie Brown, who are not related. Neither defendant appeared in court today, where the main issue was scheduling. The judge agreed to move the case from the scheduled September term until early of next year, and the defendants agreed to waive their right to a speedy trial. The delay came as a joint request from the defendants and prosecutor Tyson Duva. He's the same prosecutor that handled the Kareem Brown corruption trial. He told the judge all parties met recently to discuss the case, and all parties agreed February trial date was realistic. Prosecutors say that they expect their side of the trial to take about 5 days.
Only on First Coast News tonight, in exclusive, we are looking into a crucial piece of evidence for the NTSB, the surveillance video that captures a plane crashing at the Palatka Municipal Airport. It took the lives of Kimberly and David Niblett. Investigators say it's still a mystery as to why their plane nosedived shortly after takeoff. The NTSB says its last inspection was just 2 weeks prior. It was the pilot's second time flying without an instructor. The airport manager at the Palatka Airport says the recent string of crashes are unrelated with different causes.
You know, statistic-wise, maybe the fact that we're growing and getting more aircraft coming here, you know, on a daily basis. Best guess is that we'll find it just a tragic accident that happens in aviation.
Now, the victims are reportedly in the middle of building their own plane. Flying was something we're told that they both shared a love for together.
Next, a First Coast News exclusive.
No, not perfect, I wouldn't.
She was trapped in her sinking car, awaiting death. And tonight, for the first time, hear from the man who rushed into murky waters to rescue a 17-year-old girl.